Welcome to Houston Sports Talk with your host, Robert Land.
Oh, boo, boo, boo. What a terrible day it was for Texans fans. Welcome to our live Texans-Jags postgame show. And thanks for checking into the best Houston sports podcast, part of the National Bleav Network, presented by FanDuel. Joining me on the screen to break this down, Battle Red blog contributor Clayton Anderson and host of Texans Probe, Jacob Barzilla, down at the bottom of the screen. But you live YouTube viewers are also a part of the conversation. Jump in with us. Hit us with your questions and comments as we move along. But Jacob, the Texans are 0-3. Playoff hopes likely over. It's a bad football team. How shocked are you at what has happened?
You know, I wish I could say I was more shocked about what's going on, but I'm not all that shocked. I mean, it's kind of some of the things that you kind of saw in the offseason that they were almost ignoring. Certain offensive issues like, maybe some playmakers being hurt, not being able to replace them. I mean, they have one capable tight end currently with injuries. Their offensive line still sucks. And, Nick Caley's had struggles to start the season. It's a first-time play caller. He's not looked great. I mean, the execution on either side hasn't been great, I don't think. So I wish I could say I was more surprised and disappointed, but I mean, the type of decisions that they made this offseason about certain position groups like the offensive line is decisions that people make and people lose their job over. And I think you're going to start seeing that at some point if this doesn't turn around pretty quick.
There is one decision that I think we're going to be talking about as the season goes along. We're going to get to that one. But Clayton, what about you? Shocked at what you've seen? I mean, the expectations I thought were sky high going into this year.
No, man, listen, I had them going 12-5. They've blown through that. That's done. Absolutely. We were all saying like at least your first conference championship. That would have been a nice goal, right? And to Jacob's great point, I mean, I think my disappointment, even with the personnel and all these things, right? I feel like from Caserio to DeMeco to Caley to Stroud, they all saw some variant of this offense leading up to here. You had the entire offseason, preseason. What made you believe that what we see right now was what was suitable back then, right? Like, it makes me question everything. It makes me question their process. I question their practice habits. That's why I said, personnel aside, for me, the truly sad part is the things that they're not good at are day one items that we're in year 3 of Demeco Ryans. I did the research because I have to, right? We all have to varying degrees. They are a bottom 5 or top 5 most penalized team in the NFL since DeMeco has been there. That's a fact. That's not me making that up. They've been one of the most undisciplined rosters in football. They are physical, but they're low IQ. CJ Stroud, people said regression was last season. No, this is regression right here, where he's not seeing where he's passing. And Nick Caley, I know we're going to talk about that. I am so deeply disappointed about what I'm seeing. I refuse to move the goalposts on Caley because, yes, he's a first-time play caller, but you have experienced excellence up close in a championship organization. Currently, as you're calling games, you couldn't beat a college defense playing this way. I'll digress right now because I could launch on this, but I'm deeply disappointed. I'm shocked at just truly how abysmal you look at the basic elements of football. But and 0-5 is definitely on the table. It's on the table going into the bye.
Yeah, Gerald says, tough loss today. I'm still here, though. Thanks for being here, Gerald. Sticking with CJ and DeMeco. We will talk more DeMeco as this thing goes along later in the show. We're going to get into DeMeco. I'm going to go through the game as I typically do, but stay tuned because I want to have a serious conversation about Demeco Ryans as the head football coach of the Houston Texans. Let's start this game off with the first possession, second play. Jags come from the left side, and Jacob Johnson, however you say his name, I don't care because I don't like the way he's playing right now. He somehow ignores the guys coming from the left side, blocks nobody, nearly gets Stroud killed, although CJ missed Nico on a throw that I thought he should have made. Next play was a failed screen to Nico, but guys, I was more frustrated at that second down play than just about anything. You work all week, you would think, to script out your first couple of plays and execute them correctly. How does this happen, Jacob? How does this happen, Clayton?
I mean, this has been an issue for the Texans, like on scripted drives before. Like you go back to last season and the first play of the game against Dallas, Laramie Tunsil's upfield, it's a flag. Like, how does that happen when you work on the play all week? I don't know. Is it the coaches being dumb? Is it the players not knowing what to do and being dumb? It's probably a combination of both, honestly. Like at some point, the players just have to execute. Like they have to be able to make these blocks. I mean, like Jakob Johnson has to know who to block, especially when it's an edge rusher that he's assigned to. But at the same time, why are you asking him to do it if you don't think he could do it? You're in max protect. Like, I mean, you can't get hit by two guys in a max protection like that. That happened multiple times today too.
If you're going to carry a fullback on the roster, then the dude better know how to block somebody. And so if that's the case, get him off my roster, cut Dameon Pierce. He was not dressed out. Cut him. We don't need him. He can't do anything. Get rid of him. Ogunbowale, I don't know why he's on the team. Captain of what? Captain of being sucky? Let's start getting rid of guys that aren't good, okay? After the 3 and out, perfect punt by Townsend, that D'Angelo Ross downs at the 2. Maybe the last good thing that Townsend did all day. Tommy Townsend, not a good game for him. The defense gets a picture-perfect 3 and out, giving the offense great field position. That leads to Schultz, first down catch, Chubb, first down run, but then same old Texans. Titus, false start, makes it 3rd and 12. Then a panic failed screen pass to Marks is incomplete. And Clayton, that screen was going nowhere. Caley basically threw in the white flag with a cowardly play call, which led to the missed field goal. And that was Nick Caley in a nutshell today. Cowardly screen passes on 3rd and long, give up screen passes. What are we doing? Act like you're trying to win the game.
There was, I forget what phase of the game this was, but I looked over at Nick Caley on the sideline, and his body language just screamed of like, I don't want to say that he didn't know what he was doing, but it looked like he was just like doing this and just like, something, I don't know. Here, let's try this. They say this is a game plan offense. That would be nice right now. They literally look like they're just picking stuff out of a hat, and they're so shocked that it does not work. Like, I know the play you just described to me, but one play that really stood out that really encapsulated just the lack of self-awareness of this entire operation. If you recall, you're probably going to bring this up, but it was the play they were backed up. CJ was backed up on the Jacksonville Jaguars goal line. And I want to say it was just like 3rd quarter where they call a Nico Collins bullet screen to the left. And it goes nowhere, obviously, right? Again, details escape me. But that right there, you talk about give-up plays. A give-up play and just borderline and just not knowing what you're doing, I guess they go hand in hand. But I question his feel for the game. And I shouldn't be doing that. It shouldn't be happening. I don't understand what I'm looking at. It's give up plays. It's what are you doing plays. Like it looks like he's trying to reinvent the wheel of the game of football, and it's not that hard. I was so frustrated because they would do all this circus acting to do nothing, and I would just watch Trevor Lawrence complete short little dump off slant routes, crossers for like 5, 7, 8. It makes no sense. To your point about that play, none of it made sense. None of it did.
Yeah, I just, engineer points out in the chat, he said they never go for the kill under DeMeco. And that's an issue offensively. DeMeco, there have been times we might have criticized his aggressiveness on the defensive end, maybe being too aggressive, but that's been the issue with DeMeco in 3 years. And with 2 different coordinators, you understand it's probably what DeMeco wants. And so if that's the case, again, we're going to litigate DeMeco as this thing goes along. Yeah. Jags respond by walking down the field easily. Stingley called for that PI in the end zone, leading to Tootin's TD. This was the type of drive I thought we'd see from the Texans offense this season. What stood out for you about this, Jacob, from the Texans defense? Because they were just, 5 yards here, 10 yards there, boom, 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 and they go down the field.
Yeah, I mean, Trevor's always been pretty good at the quick game. Like that's what they've done for forever in Jacksonville is like just use like quick game. And really, the Texans didn't tackle well, which again, we could get to this as well. You want to talk about discipline. They also don't tackle well. They've never tackled well under DeMeco. So you get Henry To'oTo'o. He's getting picked on in coverage consistently. He's gotten picked on for 3 games. I don't know why he continues to play. Kalen Bullock's been really bad in coverage. Almost everybody has really had some bad moments in coverage. I know Jalen Petre's gotten a lot of slander recently. I think he's been one of the better guys in the secondary. I think he had a really good game today. I think overall he's been fine. I think Kamari's been pretty easily the best guy in the secondary, though. Aziz has had a really good, I don't really know what to say about the defense. They're fine, but they're not as good as you would have expected. The safety play has been really brutal. Like I said, the second linebacker play has been bad outside of Aziz. So, it's disappointing on that side, too. I think the offense is kind of shielding the defense from some blame. I know the points per game has been low, but they really have not played that well. And Jacksonville gave them multiple shots on defense because they couldn't catch the football today.
Yeah, Kalen Bullock, I don't know what happened to him, who replaced him with a bad robot named Kalen Bullock, but the guy we saw last year that was making plays this year has been a joke. He's been awful. I don't know what's happened, but this guy needs to show up. I don't know if there's an injury at play, whatever. It's time for you to show up, dude, or we need to get somebody else in there. And unfortunately, there's not a whole lot of options. Maybe Jimmy Ward will be ready to come back at some point this year, but that's a problem. Next Texans drive, Stroud sacked on second down. Ersery could have been better, but this was a Stroud failure, in my opinion. He never took his eyes off the left side of the field with Nico and Schultz. Higgins had a potential opening in the zone down the right seam, but if nothing else, he'd open up Noel on the right sideline. And, as usual, Stroud doesn't step up. He doesn't step up, guys. He falls back when the rush comes, making it a 13-yard loss. Clayton, he's got to figure this out. It's, you can't continue to make this. When you make the same mistake over and over again, it's over for you as a quarterback. You can't get better, then you're out of the league pretty soon.
Right. And look, we're in year 3 of Stroud, right? One of the biggest compliments that Stroud got in his rookie season, it wasn't just the passes he was making, right? It was the poise, it was the maturity, it was the decision making, it was the high IQ. It was the fact that he carried himself like a 5-year vet in a rookie's body. That was one of the biggest things. This is one of those where I don't know if you blame, somebody mentioned earlier on my team, have we David Carr'd CJ Stroud? I don't think it's that bad, but I see the chinks in his armor starting to develop where it's the moodiness, it's the lack of just emotional kind of, control, where he's too open about his feelings. He's dropping his shoulders. He's on the bench looking like he's quit on the game. And it's fourth quarter. I'm thinking about guys like Tom Brady, Drew Brees. They would not be moping around. They'd be galvanizing troops. They'd be walking up and down the sideline, and they might be using swear words, but still they're not acting so defeated on and off the field and on the podium. I'm most disappointed in CJ because it just really looks like he got a lot of Farmer Valdez, and to use an Astros term, where it's the talent is there, but I question more and more the mentality. I know it's tough. I know it's not been the best with the O-line and all this stuff, but they need their leader on the field. And right now, whether it's emotional, mental, physical, or just unwillingness to throw the ball away and make the sound plays, CJ is not doing that. And this is how he should have looked in year 1, not in year 3.
Yeah, I'm going to get to Jacob's thoughts on CJ as the show goes along. But yeah, there's more to talk about with him. I didn't even think about the body language. I'm too busy worrying about what's going on the field and too concerned about that. The Texans defense forces a punt after that, but Stingley leaves the game with a rib injury. So we got a whole year of Stingley healthy, and now we're starting to see he's getting a little bit banged up. Stuff's happening here and there, and just bad goes to worse. Texans offense forced to overcome 2 Ersery holding penalties on the next drive. Penalties quickly adding up for this completely and totally undisciplined team. You mentioned it earlier, Clayton. I mentioned it last week. I'm going to keep harping on it until they figure this stuff out, or until the guy in charge is gone. Stroud makes a couple of big first down throws to Nico and Higgins on 3rd and 4 at the 9. Stroud can't connect with Schultz in the end zone, although Schultz said he was held. Jacob, what did you think about that particular play and just the drive itself?
Yeah, I mean, that play, I thought they should have got a holding, to be honest. I thought Schultz was held in the end zone. But that drive was one of their better drives. I mean, like all season, which it doesn't say a lot. It's not like they've had a lot of good drives, but um, they moved the ball. They moved the ball pretty well on that drive. They picked up some third downs. Like that type of stuff is things that you want to see from your offense and things that they've done in the past with CJ. So, I mean, it was there was only points till the fourth quarter until Tyson Campbell blew a coverage. So I thought that was a fine drive.
All right, before we roll on, just want to remind everybody, happy 12th anniversary to us. It was 12 years ago this week when I started this show with my then co-host RG Seal and Anthony Eagle, best friends from high school. We've since done over 1,700 episodes, over 350 guests, the longest running Houston sports podcast. Let me know in the comments of this video how long you've watched or listened to us. Would love to hear from all of you people about, just how long you've liked the show and how long you've enjoyed us. As always, let your friends know about us and about the live post-game shows so we can get some back and forth in the comments. Make sure you subscribe on YouTube with notifications so you can get updates on the live shows and all our content. You also wanted to subscribe to us on your favorite podcast app. All right, next Jags possession. Texans force the 3-and-out, but the Texans offense stays stuck in the mud because on second down, the Texans can't block 4 guys when they have a max protect. Even the broadcast team is saying this is obvious. Stroud gets no time for the third drive in the first half. And Jacob, the Texans throw a white flag screen pass again on third down. The offense, not only incompetent, but continually cowardly offense.
Yeah, I mean, they're just a coward. Like, they play cowardly in almost every phase. Like, there was multiple chances for them to go for it on a third or on a fourth down, like a 4th and 2, 4th and 3 at this time in the game, and they didn't go for either of them. And I get that the offense has not played well, but at some point you have to at least try. Like, you're playing the field position game. The defense was fine for most of the game. They didn't really need like these extra people. You have to at some point get a spark on offense, and they didn't have it till later in the game when Tyson Campbell just blew a coverage. So I would like to see them be a little bit more aggressive. Like, they're not winning games by playing the field position game. It doesn't matter if you don't score the football at the end of the day.
Clayton, how can a team that talks about culture all the time be this undisciplined everywhere? Offensive line, wide receivers, tight ends. I mean, just the flags again. We talk about them, but it's just they don't seem to know where to be and what to do. And we're talking culture. This is like what is culture if that's not it?
Right. I'm glad you brought this up, Rob. So I don't know if y'all recall, but CJ made a statement in the offseason talking about Nick Caley, and he mentioned how he buys into people and not systems. I don't know if you remember him saying that. I don't want to take anything else out of context. That's just one little line that I got. But to your question, Rob, when your quarterback, and by extension your head coach and kind of your GM maybe also, when they say things like that, that's very telling. I buy into people and not systems. Right now, you can interpret that as meaning like, oh, you put the people first, you build a team and an offense and a culture, Rob, around the individuals that you have, right? Ideally, and that's good in practice. But the other side of that is it could also steer towards you're so focused on liking the guy and his personality that you completely forego the actual competence and the skill level that he brings to the table, right? We probably all know 1 or 2 guys like that in the workplace where it's like they're a cool dude or they're the elderly person that's on staff. And you don't know how they keep a job. They're just there, but they're just there. But you question what they bring to the table. I say that long-winded spiel just to say it really seems like, to go back to Bobby Slowick for a second, I was big on Bobby Slowick, and I'm getting to the point. I was big on Bobby Slowick not being here anymore, right? But I never said it like he was the only reason why this team sucked at the time. Looking at it now, it's like the biggest crime against Bobby Slowick seemed like he just didn't work well with others. Don't tell me that Bobby Slowick had better systems in place where he could have had the team looking more competent. So to your point, I fear that that's kind of the culture that Demeco Ryans has allowed from his staff to the players, where it's all vibes, it's all positivity. As long as you're cool with the person's personality, you'll overlook all the negative things that come out. And then on the podium, you want to say, oh, well, that's on me to clean that up. These are things we got to take care of. Well, no, Shirley. It starts somewhere.
Henry To'oTo'o is the name that keeps running through my head as you're saying this. Or Dare Ogunbowale. I love this guy. He's a great guy. That's fine. He can't play and he screws up. Those are the type of guys I don't want on my team. And it's this Texans team's inability to recognize the guys that don't know how to play football. You can like them all you want to, but you have to be able to play some football. And look, Christian Harris, he at least shows athleticism out there. He at least shows a little bit of tackling instead of To'oTo'o. And we're going to get to more To'oTo'o about tackling. But, I mean, Jacob, great point by Clayton. It's just, you at some point, you got to figure out where you're screwing up on particular guys. And frankly, I'm going to end something real quick. Bobby Slowik was a problem. It doesn't mean Nick Caley isn't a problem also. Both guys can suck. And both guys right now do suck, as far as I can see.
Yeah, I mean, they both are not very good, I don't think. And I think Slowik, did some good things, especially the first year. But, I mean, it just didn't work. But I think a lot of the problem is the personnel that they had. I mean, clearly the personnel is not very good. I think we can say that as well. The guys that they have just aren't very good on the offensive line. They're not very good. They're not good in the tight end room. I mean, the receiver room's okay if you would play your guys a little bit more, but they don't. So I don't know why. I don't get that. There's a lot of issues on offense for sure, and issues as a whole. I mean, I think that they're just late recognizing some things. Like, I don't know, like I don't think Dare played an offensive snap today, unless I missed it. But it's too late. I mean, he should never have played in the first place.
Yeah, and let me just point out to everybody that last year I was pissed because Strausser stunk. And Slowik wasn't the only problem. We knew Strausser stunk. And if Popovich was a guy that you were good enough to hire this year, then Popovich at the bye week last year should have been in, and let's see what Slowik could have done with a guy that was a better offensive line coach. It still pisses me off that they didn't do it last year, and that's Demeco just not caring about the culture of how you play on the field and worrying about, it would look bad if I fired my offensive coordinator right now, or if I didn't give him a whole season or whatever. The bottom line was, offensive line coach, or didn't give him the whole season. The bottom line was that the talk was in the locker room that he had checked out. We heard this. The guy had checked out as an offensive line coach. They were a disaster. They couldn't handle a stunt to save their life. It's still an issue, but at least that's better. At least the run game looks like guys are actually pushing guys up the field. And it's not just because they're new guys. You can just tell it's a new attitude of like, we're going to push guys forward instead of being pushed backwards. I'm going to go back to the action a little bit. Texans defense started to gain momentum. Will Anderson sacks Lawrence on third down. Great field position again for the Texans on offense. But guys, it's a total joke again. Listen to this sequence. They start off with the Texans staple. This should be called a Texan now. From now on in the history of the NFL, a pre-snap penalty on first down. Dalton Schultz, pre-snap penalty on first down. Again, it's 1st and 15 before the ball is even snapped once. Then Ersery, again, stunk today, gets pushed back into Stroud by Josh Hines-Allen on second down. Caley throws up another white flag, third down, draw play. Bogus holding penalty on Titus. But, I mean, Clayton, the offense reminds me of they're just like the Bad News Bears of football. And now they don't even attempt big plays to their Kelly leak, Nico Collins. Like, it took them until the fourth quarter until they threw one up top to Nico Collins. Like, I don't care if you overthrow them by 10 yards. In the first period, test the defense, make them get off the line of scrimmage a little bit, and make sure that they know that you're going to go deep once. And if the stupid offensive line and you can't protect with 9 guys, I don't care if you got to put 9 guys back there to protect. Let Nico go down the field, go long, and throw it over his head to at least make him think about it. And I shouldn't have to wait, for a play down the field until the fourth quarter every week.
Yeah, football isn't rocket science, Rob. I mean, you basically said everything. Football isn't rocket science. The only bit of Texans football that I've seen over the past few weeks has been whenever CJ has just thrown up a ball to Nico and hope for the best. That's it. Outside of that, everything else is seeming like they're trying to be too cute, and it's not football. It's not. It's not that hard. It's not. That's why I'm not moving the goalposts on it being a rookie play caller when you've seen enough good football to know what it looks like. Know your personnel and act upon it. It's not hard. But, hey.
All right, third quarter, Jags possession, terrible open field tackling by guess who? Henry Toa. Larry Etienne says Henry goes for the kill shot too much instead of wrapping up. I mean, that was one where I don't know if he went for the kill shot. He couldn't stay in front of the guy. Then Kalen Bullock puts the Jags, his open field tackling being bad, puts the Jags into Texans territory. Those two guys deserve a lot of boos and hisses because of how they played this year. It's not good enough. And, Jacob, you said it, Bullock's been complete trash, pretty much all 3 games. Like, what can you do if you can't get anything from Bullock? I mean, where do you go with this? I mean, at least Tremont Smith showed you something at cornerback when Stingley was out, but I don't know what the option is unless, like I said, Jimmy Ward might be the wing and a prayer if he can stay healthy for more than like a quarter and a half.
Yeah, I mean, they've liked MJ Stewart for a long time, so maybe you turn to him. He came in when CJ Gardner-Johnson went out for a little bit. I mean, I've not been super big on Kalen the whole 2 years. I mean, he made some big plays last year, but as a whole, he gave up too many big plays in coverage, and there was some that he got lucky on that guys overthrew it. And I mean, he takes a lot of risk in coverage, and it doesn't work a lot of time. He doesn't tackle all that well. I don't really know what he does. What he does like extremely high level. He turns the ball over, but he's not doing that this year. He dropped a pick early on in this game, so I'm not super high on Kalen. I mean, maybe you give MJ Stewart a shot until Jimmy Ward can come back. I don't know.
Yeah, if he can make at least plays, though, like last year, he was making interceptions. He was he was in the right spots. Even if he didn't make the interception, it seemed like, if he dropped the ball, he was where he was supposed to be. He's just not where he's supposed to be. And we're going to get to another one of those plays very shortly. And Texans, another crushing penalty. Derek Barnett called for leverage on a Jags field goal, but the Jags, they weren't exactly the 1970s Steelers either. They can't take advantage of it. Still settle for 3, though. Texans on offense, just like clockwork. Another awful penalty on first down. Ersery's third of the game, a face mask. I love Ersery. Like this one, he's just going to have to erase off the books. I think he's going to be a good left tackle, but it was a bad show today for him. Third down, Stroud sacked. And on that sack, Jacob, Ersery, Tomlinson, and Andrews all got beat. All of them got beat.
I mean, yeah, Laken Tomlinson sucks. I don't know how else to put this in a nice way. He's not good. He hasn't been good. Like that was their idea of signing a left guard, and he's been bad. Like he was bad in Seattle. He was bad in New York. I don't know what the idea was there. I still don't really know.
Is this we're gonna wait until he gets injured before we take him out? Like Kenyon Green, does he?
I mean, they were rotating today, so maybe they just go with Juice. I would obviously Juice in there.
Yeah, it's like it's over. Like we've seen 3 weeks of this. We don't need to see anymore. Tommy Townsend compounds this mess. Another awful punt, but the Texans catch a break when Little misses a 47-yard field goal. Jacksonville, boy, desperately trying to keep the Texans in this game, but Stroud hands it right back. Terrible pass, badly underthrows what looked like an open Christian Kirk on the sideline. And it's the grown man quarterback stuff that CJ isn't good at, guys. He's not moving around defenses with his eyes. He doesn't understand blitzes. And I'm kind of wondering right now, I mean, I'm going to ask either one of you, whichever one wants to take this, could that S2 score that we all laughed at his rookie year, oh, the S2, look at that, it doesn't matter. Maybe it matters. Maybe this is an issue with him.
So I'll take this for the second, Jake. I think I'm at the point of saying I don't think CJ is a bad quarterback, not by any stretch. I definitely think, to use a Cam Newtonism, I definitely think he's more of a system fit guy than what I thought he was. I thought that CJ was one of those guys where he can go into offensive hero mode and be an offense unto himself. But clearly, and no insult to him, it just every quarterback to a certain degree is a system guy. Tom Brady was like all of them are to varying degrees, but it's when you get to the Lamars, the Joshes, the Joes, all those guys where it's the difference makers at the position where if things break down, they're still mentally locked in and they can contribute. And it just looks like whether it's S2, whether it's processing, I don't know. I've seen various clips also to where it's like CJ just looks lost with the ball. And that really is like that's less of S2 and for me more of like a confidence thing for me. I don't think it's a cognitive thing. I think he's a confidence player. And right now, I don't know where that's gone.
What do you think, Jacob?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. I think it's right on the head. I mean, I think he's a good quarterback. I think there's limitations to his game that you're seeing, and I think the limitations are unfortunately what the Texans' weakness is on offense. I think he struggles under pressure in certain situations. He struggles with a lot of anticipation, and they're not really able to do this right now. Like that's just not something that they do well on as an offense. And so what they've done essentially is taken what the quarterback doesn't do well and highlighting it now. And I think that's really the issue. I don't think CJ Stroud really, I don't really blame him a ton for the offense. I mean, at this point, I think he's just, like you said, I think he's a confidence guy and he just has lost a lot of confidence in what he wants to do. I mean, the last 2 drives of this game, he looked really, really good. Like he was hitting guys and he got hit on the throw. I mean, it's just a bad offense as a whole, and he's part of it for sure.
Clayton, is this right? Engineer said he came out with a Yankees hat. You're coming out with a Yankees hat in Houston? Like Mariners hat, that's not great, but like Mariners or whatever, a Yankees hat, and you're going to come out with a franchise that's like the greatest in baseball history when you are sucking right now and 0-2. That's who you're going with?
Yeah, I think it's less of the Yankee hat and more. He doubled down on the hat game. Like he went Mariners then to Yankees. It's like you're just gonna touch all the bases on us, huh? That's like who's next? I don't know who's next. I don't know. Dodgers.
You're trying to get the fans back right now if you're CJ Stroud because you're terrible, and that's not a good way to get the fans back. Like that is not a good. He wants to test this fan base. You watch out because he's going to start getting booed. On the rack if this keeps happening.
That's funny.
I'm talking about his play, not just the hat wearing, but the hat wearing. You're not doing yourself any favors with this fan base. And don't come crying when they start booing you because, hey, I went to the playoffs the last 2 years. When you stink your 3rd year and you're also like instigating the fan base, that's not the way to handle things. Texans D forces a 3-and-out thanks to a Brian Thomas drop on the next drive on 3rd down. Again, Jags. I mean, they're terrible too. Jalen Noel makes a bad decision on the return. Wasn't happy with what he did there. He lets it go instead of catching it at the 16, pinning the Texans inside the 10. The rookies, not a tremendous game. I think Woody Marks might have had the best of the rookies. Texans go nowhere on offense. Again, they're 6 3-and-out in the game at this point. But they finally show up in 2 plays. They're able to tie the game. Even though they have been straight garbage the whole game, the D causes a turnover, terrible throw by Lawrence, a gift, basically. Petrie picks it off. Then Nico, wide open, 50-yard touchdown pass. I can't say, Jacob, I'm excited about it because this was more Jags being Jags than Texans being Texans at that point in the game.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Tyson Campbell just blew his coverage. I mean, he tried to jump on a dig or whatever they were running an out route, and Nico just was wide open. I mean, like I said, it was just a bad throw from Trevor. It was a good play by Petrie, but it wasn't like Petrie made an awesome play on the ball. It just was, like you said, Jaguars being Jaguars. Like you said, they're not a good team either. That was my takeaway from this game is that neither of these teams were good, no matter who won this game. Neither of them are good teams.
Yeah, these teams never seem to play competent ball when they play each other, especially in Jacksonville. Jacksonville games, frankly, it's the ugliest, grossest stuff I've ever. It is like watching a really bad B movie a lot of times when you're watching the Jags and the Texans play in Jacksonville. Next possession, Jags, big 4th down near midfield. Tim Settle makes a play, a defensive tackle making a play is almost news for the Texans. Pass deflection there on 4th down, but then Nico Collins has that fumble, feels very Ogunbowale all over again. And if you can't trust Nico, I don't know who you trust right now. Then Jacob, I want to get your thoughts on this. Lawrence finds Brian Thomas wide open over the middle on a busted coverage. Was that Lassiter or Bullock's fault? Looked like Lassiter thought Bullock was going to take that space there.
Yeah, that's just on Kalen. I don't know what Kalen was doing. He's playing in the middle of the field, like completely lost. I don't know what he was doing. I don't know why he's playing in the box to begin with, to be honest with you, but he was completely lost. I don't know what Kamari can do in that situation. I don't blame him at all.
And, Clayton, Alshire looked like he was in no man's land. It was weird. I don't know what he was doing. Toa was blitzing, and the blitz was like, I don't know why you're blitzing with him. Why is he on the field if you want to blitz? Why isn't Christian Harris out there? And again, I'm just like, I just like, we're not just using Toa, but we're using him in stuff that he's not good at, right?
All those words made my head hurt. I don't know what they're doing, man. Like with Henry T and Christian Harris, and the biggest thing for me is they just always look out of place and like out of sorts, and that they don't know where to be most impactful. I don't know if it's DeMeco. I don't know if it's Matt Burke. They're just not getting home. They're just not the defense. Like they're just not the cohesive unit that we thought they would be. And it's just too many guys you could point out, whether it's Caley, whether it's a linebacking core. I have no idea. And the fact that you're pointing that out, it made my head hurt. I couldn't answer that for you.
The Texans go down the field, and it looked like, Jacob, the Texans defense pulled a Tampa from last week. Jacksonville went down the field, and it looked like the Texans pulled a Tampa from last week and just said, let's let Etienne score right there so we have a chance to win the game, because I think if they don't, the game's over with.
Yeah, that was the right decision. I mean, at that point, you just let him score. Kamari could have just let him score on the crosser too. I mean, like at that point, you don't want to like you don't want to have to use your timeouts. Although Demeco, you burned a timeout right before the 2-minute warning after it was pick up on 7 on first down. So don't know why he did that, but at that point, yeah, you just let him score. You try to get your offense a chance. So I was cool with that.
All right, now I want to get to this last play, the nail in the coffin play. Hines Allen gets a piece of the ball before Stroud throws. Ersery beat badly around the edge, but should Stroud have felt the pressure and got rid of it sooner? I'm hearing like, oh, this is a David Carr situation. No, David Carr had 0 time. It was a jailbreak. I mean, if you did not see the David Carr era, you don't remember. This is starting to become CJ Stroud has got to feel pressure better. He has to. I mean, Jacob Clayton, am I crazy? Like this is a guy that doesn't understand where the pressure is coming from and how to slide over, how to move up, how to move back, when to get rid of the ball. That's what the great quarterbacks know how to do. He doesn't know how to do it.
I think for me, CJ Stroud is very awkward footed. Like he's very awkward in that he trips over his own feet almost sometimes. Like he's just not the pocket awareness, pocket presence. It suffers due to those kind of things. But to your question about where the blame goes, I mean, yes, I look at CJ and his pocket awareness needs to be so much better. He's very slow at just making a decision. He's not throwing the ball away, so whatever that is. But I really think it comes down to play calling. The commentary team, the color analysts are the ones who said it best when they said, why are you doing this when you have timeouts and you have Woody marks? You have other routes that you can do to pick up the first and make it easier. That's my thing right there. And the fact that nobody in that chain of command makes the audible call to say, let's play good situational football, that's more concerning to me than what actually happened. And again, last point on this, CJ gets no excuses here because CJ told us, oh, hey, I get to make the checks now. I'm the guy. It's my offense, basically. Okay, you're the guy. And since you're the guy, this falls at your feet, whether fair or unfair. You said it, not us. So I don't know where the calls are not coming from, but it's just bad situational football, regardless of who you blame.
And Jacob, let me just point out that I hated Bobby Slowick's end of the game play calling. It was terrible. It was awful. And this is, straight out of Bobby Slowick, like situational football at the end of the game. I remember that Bengals game a couple of years ago where, the Texans were up by 2 scores and CJ Stroud is throwing the ball on a 3rd and 3 where it's like, just take 40 seconds off the clock here. We got 3.5 minutes to go and we're up 2 scores. And instead it turns into like a pick 6, if I remember correctly. And then the Texans have to go ahead and win the game in overtime because Slowick doesn't understand situational football at the end of the games. We saw that, I remember Green Bay last year. There's all of these games that you're just like, what are they thinking at the end of the game? And, right now I'm going to say it right. I'm not just going to flat out say it. Nick Caley needs to be gone. I mean, it's over with. It's only 3 games. This is like football 101 stuff. Like if I know it and you know it, Jacob, and Clayton knows it, then he's not going to be a good offensive coordinator. End of story.
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, you're good. You're good. Go ahead.
I'll make it brief, Jake. I think 0-5 might get him fired. That's where I'm at. I think 0-4 gets his seat warm. I think 0-5 to a competent, urgent head coach gets him fired. But I'm not hoping for it. I'm just saying I'm not a fan of throwing away seasons. And at 0-5, you can still salvage something of respect if you show, hey, this isn't good enough. Wash your hands. I made a mistake. I'm over to a play callers. I suck at this, but this isn't working.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to fire Nick Caley because I think at this point you almost consider the fact that if does DeMeco go as a package with it's getting to the point where I think you have to consider DeMeco being on the hot seat too. And does he get to make a 3rd offensive coordinator hire if they move on? Does Caserio get fired? I mean, if you start 0-5, like you said, which is on the table, I mean, I don't think it's a guarantee that they're going to beat Tennessee next week. I think they probably should, but how they're playing, they're getting gifts from teams and they're not winning games. Like Tampa Bay gave them multiple gifts at the end of the game. They blocked a punt. They missed a 38-yard field goal and they still lost that game. So I haven't seen anything that makes me believe that they can beat any of these teams. Mm-hmm. So we'll see, I guess. But yeah, if you're 0-5, maybe you do make the change. I don't really know at this point, honestly. I don't think it.
To your point, I think opportunity matters too, because there's a team in Miami, Florida who they say what they want to say. I think if Mike McDaniels becomes available, I think you're the first team that should be calling him saying, hey, you have the Demeco Ryans connections. He fixed Tua for all intents and purposes. Come over here and fix this team. If that happens, I think all bets are off. But if you don't have any other good options, then sure, you don't fire a dude just because.
Yeah, I mean,
here's the crazy part. Here's the crazy part, guys, that you're not going to believe. I just checked before we started recording. Our friends at FanDuel have the Texans as a 7.5 point favorite against the Titans at home Sunday. I mean, maybe those odds change, but I'm telling you, Clayton and Jacob, I would absolutely jump on this, and I would actually absolutely jump on the Titans. The Texans shouldn't be favored more than a touchdown against some high school team out, at Atascocita High School. They shouldn't be favored by more than 7 points at this point. Can they score more than 7 points in a game? Are you kidding me?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not even sure the Texans can score a touchdown at this point. Are they going to score more than 7 points? I mean, I don't know. I really don't think. I think they will beat Tennessee, but I think you're at the point now where cracks are starting to show. This team is a disaster right now. And it's not going to get any better. So I'm not really all that sure what's going to happen. And I don't think it's going to be good. Baltimore, I mean, that game is already, you could seal that. And they're going to lose by minimum 3 scores in that game.
That's going to be a disaster. That's going to be hide your eyes.
Yeah. That game's going to be a disaster. So, I mean, I don't know at this point. I really don't know what to say. It's not good.
And let me just, I'm going to just, I need a second on Demeco Ryans. I started to feel this way pretty strongly after last week, and this kind of locks it down for me. Demeco Ryans isn't a Super Bowl championship coach. He is a coach that can get you to 10-7, which we've seen. He's an average to slightly above average coach. If you want to win the Super Bowl, if you're Cal McNair, you need to start looking right now and trying to figure out who your next head coach is, because Demeco Ryans, after year 3, it's going to look like he has digressed year after year after year. He's not getting better. He's not correcting the issues. We've talked about the penalties. They're not getting better. We've talked about the offense. It's not getting better. We've talked about defensive breakdowns. It's not getting better. He gets on the mic every game and says, hey, we're this close. We're a play or two away. Every NFL team is a play or two away. That's the NFL. But the fact is, you're not a play or two away from beating the Ravens or the Chiefs or any of these good teams. You're not a play or two away from beating those teams. Yeah, you can be a play or two away from beating the sorry Jacksonville Jaguars. You can be a play or two away from beating Tampa Bay at home. You can be a play or two away from beating early season Rams that are getting just revved up under Sean McVay. But guess what? Demeco Ryans gets out-coached by just about everybody that's any good in the NFL. He's not better than Sean McVay. He's not better than Andy Reid. He's not better than Jim Harbaugh. He didn't look better than Todd Bowles. And when you start getting out-coached by Liam Cohen in his 3rd game, it's a problem if you're Demeco Ryans in your 3rd year with the same quarterback and a defense that was primarily coming back from last year. The fact that you guys look like straight up minor league stuff in a must-win game, Demeco, it's over with. The Demeco era of, unless you like mediocre or sometimes mediocre, that's what Demeco Ryans is. What do you guys think? Am I right or wrong?
No, I think people got really offended when someone even broached that conversation when I said, just Demeco needs some more accountability. I didn't even call for him to be fired yet. I just said he just takes more ownership, and people jumped down my throat and said, well, do you know what he's done for this franchise? But see, let's stop right there. What do they say in sports? Do not ignore in victory what you would highlight in defeat, right? Even with the recent winning and even the dominance in the playoffs, these are things that get you, Jacob, you said it, these are fireable things if this were any other franchise in any other circumstance. We need to take off the red and blue battle red colored glasses for a second and understand. If you're trying to win a Super Bowl, this is where great teams separate from elite. This is where poor teams separate from just good. There are levels to this. And to your point, Rob, it's sad to say, but Demeco Ryans, right now, he definitely comes off as more of a motivational position coach than he does a head coach. The announcer said it today. They started openly questioning his game management. When you're firing coordinators, you no longer have the shielding up of blame where you're blaming this guy, that guy. You are the guy. You are the public-facing face, not Caserio. This is you, right? Caserio, we'll talk about that later, but I don't know if I'm at fired Demeco right now, but I did tell my wife earlier, I said, Demeco better be glad, or maybe I was talking to myself. Demeco better be glad that we're at only year 3 of his contract and he got a 6-year deal. Because if this were like year 4 or 5, absolutely I'd be saying like, yeah, you might need to go ahead and get him up out of here because he's not that guy. That's the only thing stopping me. Outside of that, the problems that he has, like you said, are day one stuff. We're not talking about elite type stuff yet. We're talking rudimentary day one install problems. And what irritates me the most is the constant smiling and telling you that it's raining when you're constantly being spit on. That's my thing. Like, I don't appreciate that. I don't appreciate the smiles and giggles. I need him to be a leader of men. And right now, he just looks like he's just buddy. Things are fine, and they're not okay.
Yeah, Clayton says he's lucky this is year 3 of a year 6 contract. But Jacob, let me ask you, they're 5-12 at the end of the year. They look like this. And Demeco, is he going to go to Cal McNair and say, you know what, I can fix this. Let me fire another offensive coordinator and then we'll have it fixed. Let me redo the offensive line again. Let me keep, shuffling the deck. Like, what's the conversation going to be like with Cal McNair? I mean, Cal McNair has eaten money before. We've seen him do this with other coaches in the last few years. We've seen him do it with GMs. We've seen him do it before. I'm telling you, Demeco, he's gone at the end of the year unless something incredible happens, because I
Oh,
don't
you're
know how
calling
you
it?
explain this away. I don't know how you explain it away.
I don't either.
You're calling it? You're no, Rob, you're saying you're calling it. Like, if the season goes sideways, you think DeMeco's out?
Yeah, I don't know how, like, what's the excuse? I mean, look, Cal's listening to the fans right now. We know that. We've heard him the last couple of years. Like, he's changed his tune. Hannah is like semi running it, and she listens to fans, and she knows what she's doing.
Yeah,
So
she's ruthless. She doesn't care.
I mean, I don't know, Jacob.
I mean, DeMeco getting fired wouldn't shock me at all. I think he struggled with basic head coaching things for 3 years. He's a great defensive coordinator that I don't think's a head coach. I mean, that's the reality of the situation. He doesn't manage the clock well. He can't hire a staff. What does he do as a head coach that makes you believe he can be a top tier head coach? I haven't seen it.
Good vibes.
Yeah, I mean, like, he's fun, but the fun goes out the window when you suck. Like, I mean, that's like, when you're not winning games, the fun is not there. And really, the fun hasn't been there since their offense was good. The vibes are not good when you're winning defensive games. I get it. I like good defense. When your offense stinks and you're winning games, the vibes are not good. They were not good last year and they won 10 games. So I just struggle to see how he's going to keep his job if they suck, if they continue to suck and they have all these penalties. I don't think Caserio would keep his job either. I think they would both go, because to me, you can't fire DeMeco and keep Caserio, because then you're on Caserio's fourth head coaching hire. And then it's like, fourth head coaching hire is crazy. You're not getting a fourth head coaching hire. And DeMeco will be on his third OC hire in 4 years. So I don't see it. I really don't.
And real quick, Rob, you're about to go. And see, therein lies the unraveling, right? Because I'm also thinking CJ Stroud, after this season, he's eligible for at least a contract offer. We all know who his agent is, okay? David Mulugeta, right? He has a propensity to get a lot of his guys out of bad situations before their careers are wasted. Look at Deshaun Watson. Look at Jalen Ramsey. Look at Micah Parsons even right now. Like, there's a track record where CJ Stroud, as much as we, appreciate him and as much as he may like it here, I could see a scenario, and he'd be right to do it, if CJ Stroud woke up one day and said, you know what, I don't think this is where I think I'm going to be most successful. You basically reset the entire franchise again, and you're right back at square -5 again. So my thing is, you have whatever next step you're going to take, you have to get this right, because you're on the verge, basically, of a potential catastrophe of a situation that is completely avoidable if you don't settle for mediocrity and strive for excellence. If you don't do that, you could very well be looking for another quarterback soon, and not because CJ doesn't pan out, but because CJ wants out, and nobody wants that. So at this point now, if you're trying to say that scenario, absolutely, Caserio, DeMeco, and Caley might be out of the door, clean sweep. It just depends on what other options do you have. That's my whole thing. Who's out there that could innovate and elevate this franchise and not just keep the status quo?
Yeah, I'm going to say just, engineer says trade Stroud to the Rams for 4 picks. Brandon says Stroud to the Rams for 3 firsts, blah, blah, blah. Let me I just have to say this. I've criticized Stroud. I'm very upset that in year 3, he keeps digressing. But at the same time, the OC has got nobody to blame but himself, unless, you're talking about the players. But with CJ Stroud, like, we've seen 2 bad OCs. Can we at least see him with a good OC before we get Stroud out of the building? Can I at least see him with somebody that knows how to train an offensive line to not hold, to stay in their place before the snap, to not have 2 guys in motion at the same time, to not do stupid stuff on the reg? Can I at least get him there before we get Stroud out of the building? Like, come on with getting CJ Stroud out of the building. Let's actually get an OC. And unless Brandon, do you love Nick Caley? Do you think he's you think he's great? Did you think Bobby Sloak was great? Engineer? Like, what are you guys talking about? And by the way, Lenora Sellers, engineer, I'm a Mizzou fan. I was not impressed at all. This is not the next Joe Montana. I watched him play on Saturday. Give me a break with Lenora's stuff. But, and I'm also going to point this out with DeMeco. It's he's fine if you want that fine coach. If you wanted Kubiak, and look, Kubiak won a championship. That was like almost a miracle situation. Okay. I knew what Kubiak was. Kubiak was very similar to DeMeco, but it's the same problem. Neither guy is out coaching a really great coach. Kubiak won just on the hands of like this incredible defense, and he didn't have to face a real tough quarterback because Cam Newton was not that guy in that Super Bowl. So I just, that's my thing on DeMeco. That's it. DeMeco needs to go at the end of this year. No question in my mind. I'm going to try to end on a kind of fun note, guys. The one good thing about today, I will say, great job, CBS, on the NFL Today look back. That was fantastic. Having Musburger there was awesome. Having the guys dressed in 70s was great. Listening to the classic music. I grew up in the 70s and 80s watching that. So, it just kind of gave me chills seeing the open to the great music and all that. And I also want to point out, if you're watching on YouTube, look at this, what I'm about to put on the screen. I'm 6 years old. Earl Campbell gets drafted by the Houston Oilers. That guy changed the franchise. What we thought CJ Stroud was, Earl Campbell was a game-changing guy. And you see my parents, after he was drafted, ran into him at an LA hotel room, or an LA hotel, I should say, that they were staying at. And he wrote to Robbie, I think Earl Campbell will do great in Houston. Best wishes, Brent Musburger. And 6-year-old me, when they brought the autograph back, was pretty excited. I was an Oilers fan. I had seen Earl Campbell run at the University of Texas plenty, obviously. So that was exciting, and just can't say enough about the job that they did. The only thing that was missing was Jane Kennedy, who, by the way, just saw an interview with her on a YouTube interview show called That's Classic that I love. She did 2 hours. She looks great. She's got a new biography out. She should have been on that. Jane's a legend, really a game changer in female sports with what she was doing. So I don't know if you guys caught it, but I just loved what the NFL Today. I could do that every week. I mean, that's what I miss, the fun of what they did on the morning show. Nothing. You guys got nothing on that?
I thought Jake was going to take that one.
I mean, I don't have much to say about it. I'm too young to know. I thought it was cool, though. It was cool.
Absolutely. Yeah, to Rob's point, I mean, look, they're playing a game. Like, we can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be super uptight all the time. Like, fun is fun, right?
Yeah. Thanks, guys, for joining us in the party. Quick, Jacob, where are you at? Social media, tell them about the show.
Yeah. Texans Jacob on X and Instagram. I have TikTok as well. I don't really use it, and then follow the Texans Probe on X and Texans Probe on YouTube. We'll be going live later this week, kind of going through all 22. Not gonna be a super fun one, I'm sure, but we'll be doing that. So if y'all are interested in that, come tune in.
Shout out to Tommy Togiai too. Good game, and I know you've been on your Tommy Togiai.
That's my guy. Tommy Togiai. I like Tommy Togiai a lot, and he played well today. He gets in there, and he's a good run defender. He stepped up today for sure.
Clayton?
Absolutely. You can catch me on House of Houston, Battle, Red Blog, also H-Town Rundown podcast. We do all 22s also. We'll have, the next game preview up, Titans, Texans, later on this week. Like Jacob said, we're gonna make it through. We're gonna try to do something, but yeah, that's where I'm at 713 Sports Talks on all platforms, including TikTok, Instagram. Don't really use Instagram like that, but YouTube, all the good stuff.
You are looking live at the 12th season finale week of our anniversary. Great stuff, guys. Thanks for joining us on the Houston Sports Talk Live Texans postgame presented by FanDuel. Thanks to our friends over at FanDuel for giving us this opportunity to run with you guys, and we'll talk again next week. And I'm sure we will do a show at some point mid this week talking about Texans and everything that's going on over there. It should be an interesting next few days over on Kirby. Thanks, everybody.
You're listening to Houston Sports Talk.
Hey, don't forget to support us by subscribing and commenting on YouTube. You can always listen to us on Spotify, Apple, or your favorite podcast app. Tell your friends about us and share our show links on social media. Spread the word, everybody. Thanks for listening.